Right now, somewhere in the world, a stadium is roaring. Thousands of strangers are screaming the same name, and on the field, one athlete's heart rate just spiked before the ball even moved. That's not nerves. That's not adrenaline alone. That's something older, something written into you long before stadiums existed. You call it home field advantage. Statisticians have measured it for decades. Home teams win more often across nearly every sport in nearly every country. But here's the strange part: the advantage isn't really about the field, it's about the eyes watching it. Your brain has always paid attention to who is watching you. For most of human history, you didn't perform in front of strangers for entertainment. You performed in front of your tribe, and your tribe's opinion decided whether you ate, whether you mated, whether you survived the season. Anthropologist Sarah Blaffer Hrdy has written extensively about how human survival depended on cooperative groups watching, judging, and remembering each other's behavior. Being watched wasn't neutral. Being watched was evaluation. So, when a crowd watches you today, an ancient circuit lights up. It doesn't know the difference between an Olympic final and a tribal council deciding your fate. Think about that for a second. The part of your brain assessing the crowd noise has no calendar. It doesn't know it's the 21st century. Psychologists call this social facilitation, a term first studied back in 1898 by Norman Triplett, who noticed that cyclists rode faster when racing against others than when racing alone. Triplett's experiments are considered some of the earliest in social psychology. He didn't have fMRI machines, he just had bicycles and a stopwatch. But he'd stumbled onto something real. The presence of others changes performance, sometimes for better, sometimes for worse. Why would evolution wire you this way? Because for nearly your entire history as a species, being watched performing well meant something. It meant status. It meant alliances. It meant access to resources and partners. Performing poorly in front of others carried risk too. Public failure could mean exclusion from the group, and exclusion, for early humans, was close to a death sentence. Your nervous system still treats an audience like a verdict. This is where home field advantage gets interesting. It's not really that your body performs better on familiar grass, it's that a friendly crowd sends an old primal signal. You belong here. We are with you. Researchers like Roy Baumeister have studied how perceived social support changes confidence and even physical capability under pressure. When the crowd is yours, your brain interprets the noise as backup, like a tribe rallying behind a hunter. But flip the crowd, and the chemistry flips too. An away crowd jeering and hostile doesn't read as motivation to your ancient brain. It reads as a threat display. Cortisol rises. Attention narrows. Fine motor skills, the ones needed for a clutch free throw or a penalty kick, can suffer first because your body is busy preparing for conflict, not precision. Have you ever noticed how the best athletes seem to perform well anywhere? That's not because they've escaped this wiring. It's because they've trained their minds to reinterpret it. Sports psychologists work with elite competitors specifically to recondition that ancient threat response, teaching the brain to read a hostile crowd as noise rather than danger. Some athletes describe deliberately imagining the crowd as background sound, stripping it of social meaning entirely. That's a modern trick layered on top of an ancient circuit. Now think about the referees. Studies on officiating have repeatedly found that crowd noise can subtly tilt decisions, with louder home crowds correlating with more fouls called against the visiting team. Researcher Alan Neville conducted some of the most cited studies on this, finding that referees, even trained professionals, are not fully immune to social pressure. They are human. Humans evolved to read group consensus as a hint toward what's true or fair. It's unsettling, but it makes sense. For most of human history, the loudest collective reaction in a group often did signal real danger or real wrongdoing. There was rarely a neutral arbiter. The crowd's reaction was the information. So, when 10,000 people groan at a missed call, some ancient part of the referee's brain quietly asks, did I miss something? This is the strange inheritance you're carrying into every stadium, every arena, every screaming living room during a championship game. You didn't evolve to watch sports, you evolved to watch each other constantly for cues about safety, status, and belonging. Sports just gives that old machinery something modern to chew on.